K-pop demon hunters Saja Boy's breakfast meal and Huntrix meal have just dropped at McDonald's. They're calling this a battle for the fans. What do you say to that, Rumi?
It's not a battle. So glad the Saja Boys could take breakfast and give our meal the rest of the day.
It is an honor to share.
No, it's our honor.
It is our larger honor.
No, really. Stop.
You can really feel the respect in this battle. Pick a meal to pick a side.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating McDonald's while supplies last.
Are you working to live or living to work? Is enough of your time truly yours? And are you giving your personal life the energy and attention it deserves? I'm hoping the answers to those questions are yes, but if not, then don't worry, because that's what I'm talking about this week. If you're ready to take a more balanced approach to your work so you can enjoy your life more, then let's talk. Hello, and thanks for joining me for the Let's Talk About Mental Health podcast, the independent show full of simple ideas for better mental health. I'm Jeremy Godwin, I'm a writer and mental health counsellor, and this isn't another show full of interviews or random opinions. Each week, I teach you practical ways to improve your mental well-being based on quality research and my own experience of learning to live with anxiety and depression after a breakdown in 2011 that completely changed my life. This is episode 265, and today I'm talking about how to improve your work-life balance, what it means, why it matters, and how to do it. So, let's talk. Have you ever felt like your life is all work and no play, leaving you wondering, is this really what balance looks like? If so, you're not alone. For many of us, the line between work and life has become so blurred it's practically invisible, like trying to find the horizon on a foggy day. But here's the thing, balance isn't just about managing your time, it's about protecting your mental health and creating a life that feels meaningful and fulfilling. In today's episode, I'm diving into the topic of work-life balance and exploring why it's so much more than just a buzzword. We'll look at how the balance between your personal and professional life, or lack of balance, impacts your mental health, and why making even small adjustments can lead to huge improvements in your well-being. It's not about achieving perfection. It's about making choices that allow you to thrive rather than just survive. So, if you're ready to step off the treadmill of endless demands and start creating a life that feels more balanced, more joyful, and more you, then this episode is going to show you how to make your work-life balance work for you and your mental health. First, let's get ourselves on the same page with some definitions, and let's talk about what does work-life balance mean? So this is one of those phrases you hear all the time, but what does it actually mean? At its core, it's about finding a rhythm that allows you to meet the demands of your work while also making space for everything else that matters in your life. It's not about spending equal amounts of time on each, because honestly, who has a perfectly balanced life where everything gets the same attention? Nobody, that's who. Instead, it's about prioritizing your time and energy in a way that feels sustainable and fulfilling. Work-life balance is about ensuring you have enough time for work, but also time for rest, hobbies, relationships, and just being able to be. Because life isn't meant to be all work, no play. There has to be stuff that makes you happy. After all, as Sheryl Crow once told us, if it makes you happy, it can't be that bad. Except when work takes over everything, then it's definitely bad. Improving your work-life balance means taking a good hard look at how you're spending your time and making deliberate changes to prioritize what's most important to you. On a practical level, that might mean setting boundaries, like not checking your emails after a certain time in the evening or on weekends. Maybe it's learning to say no to that extra project at work when you're already stretched thin. it could even mean using your annual leave or paid time off for actual rest, not just catching up on laundry or all those DIY jobs that never seem to end. When you improve your work-life balance, you create room for the things that make life meaningful, whether that's spending more time with loved ones, picking up a hobby you've always wanted to try, or just sitting in your pajamas, binge watching your favorite series without feeling guilty about it. When you're actively working towards a better work-life balance, it feels like a breath of fresh air. You'll start to notice you have more energy, your stress levels begin to ease, and life doesn't feel quite so overwhelming. It's not that everything will suddenly become perfect, because, spoiler alert, life isn't perfect, but you'll feel more in control. You'll have the space to enjoy what you're doing instead of constantly rushing from one thing to the next. Working on improving your work-life balance is like pressing pause on the hamster wheel of life and giving yourself permission to prioritize your well-being. It means recognizing that you're not a robot, even if some days you feel like one, and that your mental health matters just as much as your productivity. When you make space for things outside of work, whether it's catching up with friends, taking a yoga class, or even just spending 10 minutes in silence with a cup of tea, you're giving your mind the opportunity it needs to reset. And that reset is what helps you show up for life, work included, in a way that feels more sustainable and enjoyable. So as we continue through this episode, I want you to think about where you are now with your work-life balance. Are you giving yourself enough space to just be? Or do you feel like life is one big to-do list? And if it's the latter, what small changes could you start making today to shift the balance in your favor? I'll give you some practical ways to do that shortly, but I think you've probably already got a fair idea of what some of those things might be, or at least what areas need some attention. Okay, now let's talk about the importance of a healthy work-life balance. And I'm probably stating the obvious here, but a healthy work-life balance is essential because it's the foundation for living a well-rounded and fulfilling life. When you strike the right balance, you're able to meet the demands of your career while also making room for the relationships, activities, and personal needs that make life meaningful. Without it, it's all too easy to fall into the trap of prioritizing work at the expense of everything else, leaving you feeling disconnected from the things that bring you joy. In the words of Marilyn Monroe, a career is wonderful, but you can't curl up with it on a cold night. Balance means finding a rhythm that works for you, where you can give your energy and attention to what truly matters in all areas of your life. It's about creating a life where you're not just existing to meet deadlines or tick off to-do lists, but genuinely thriving. When you don't have a healthy work-life balance, it can feel like you're stuck on a treadmill that's going just a little too fast. You're running to keep up, but you're also constantly on the edge of exhaustion. Over time, that can lead to feelings of frustration, stress, exhaustion, burnout, or even resentment towards your job, yourself, or the people around you. On the other hand, when you take the time to actively create balance, it's like stepping off that treadmill and onto solid ground. You give yourself space to rest, recharge, and focus on what brings you fulfillment, which helps you approach your work and life with a clearer and calmer mindset. When work dominates your life, it leaves little room for rest or self-care, both of which are critical for maintaining good mental health. A poor balance can lead to chronic stress, which in turn contributes to anxiety, depression, and even physical health problems like high blood pressure or sleep issues. It's not just about the hours you're working. It's about the mental load you're carrying. If your mind is constantly occupied with work, even during your supposed downtime, it can create a sense of overwhelm that feels impossible to shake. Improving your work-life balance allows your mind to rest and reset, which is crucial for emotional resilience. It creates room for the things that bring you happiness and reduce stress, like spending time with loved ones, engaging in hobbies, or simply relaxing without an agenda. When you make a conscious effort to prioritize balance, you're not just improving your day-to-day experience, you're also safeguarding your mental health for the long term. You're giving yourself the chance to approach challenges with a clearer head, which helps you make decisions more effectively and handle stress in healthier ways. When you think about it, the question isn't really why work-life balance is important, it's why wouldn't it be? A healthy balance gives you the tools to handle life's ups and downs with more grace, and it reminds you that your worth isn't measured by how much you can do, but by how much you can enjoy. So how do you do that? Well, let's first take a quick break to hear from the brands who help me create this show each week.
Good sleep is everything. That's why Ollie's Science Back Support is made with a blend of melatonin and L-theanine for both kiddos and grown-ups. So when your mind won't switch off, you've got something that can help. Your racing thoughts and restless nights won't stand a chance. Find Ollie Sleep Solutions for the whole family at ollie.com. That's OLLY.com.
Tomorrow morning is knocking. Stock your fridge now. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or a sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries.
REI has ultralight backpacking gear. So for you gram counters and ounce shavers, we made this ad ultralight with a base weight of just 13 seconds. The next 17 seconds, pure trail. Find more with less in-store and at rei.com.
And welcome back. Now let's get into the how-to part of today's episode and let's talk about how to improve work-life balance. All right, let's talk through some practical tips for better work-life balance, starting with set clear boundaries between work and personal time. One of the most effective ways to improve your work-life balance is by establishing clear boundaries between your work and personal life. That means defining when your workday begins and ends and sticking to it. If you're always available for work, you risk letting it creep into every corner of your life, leaving very little room for rest or enjoyment. This ensures you have the time to switch off mentally and physically, allowing you to recharge. Do this by setting specific working hours and communicating them to colleagues and clients. For example, let people know that you don't check emails after 6 p.m. or on weekends. If you work from home, create a dedicated workspace and avoid bringing work into personal spaces like the bedroom or living room. Okay, next, prioritize your time. Seriously, time is your most valuable resource, and when it's wasted, you can't get it back. So spend it on what matters most to you. Prioritizing means identifying your top priorities, both at work and in life, and focusing your energy on those, which prevents you from getting bogged down in less important tasks so you can make meaningful progress where it counts. Do this by creating a daily or weekly plan that highlights your key priorities and tackling the most important tasks first. And use tools like to-do lists or time blocking to help you stay organized. And don't forget to include personal priorities in your plan, like family time or self-care. They're just as important as work. Actually, I'd argue more so, since a job is just a job. Next, don't overcommit. Overcommitting, whether it's taking on extra tasks at work or agreeing to every social invitation, leaves you with very little time for yourself. So, don't do it. It can feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're a people pleaser, but saying no helps you protect your time and energy. Try pausing before agreeing to anything new and asking yourself, does this align with my priorities? Do I have the capacity for this right now? If the answer is no, politely decline. Remember, every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. So choose wisely. Okay, next, communicate openly with others. Good communication is essential for maintaining balance, especially with colleagues, managers, and loved ones. When people know your boundaries and priorities, they're more likely to respect them, and it creates greater understanding and reduces unnecessary conflict or stress. Do this by having honest conversations about your workload or availability. For example, let your manager know if you're feeling overwhelmed, or discuss sharing responsibilities at home with your partner. Next, make time for meaningful relationships. Your relationships are a vital part of your well-being, but they can easily fall by the wayside when work takes over. Prioritizing time for loved ones strengthens connections and creates a support network that helps you navigate life's challenges, and it serves to remind you of what truly matters and provides a sense of belonging. You can do this by scheduling regular catch-ups with friends or family, whether it's a weekly dinner, a video call, or a simple walk together. Treat these commitments as non-negotiable, just like you would an important work meeting. Next, prioritize your self-care. Let me be very clear. Self-care isn't selfish. It's necessary. And your needs are just as important as your responsibilities. Making your self-care a high priority is crucial for maintaining balance and protecting your mental health. It's about intentionally making time for activities that recharge you, whether that's exercise, hobbies, or simply moments of quiet reflection. One simple way to incorporate self-care into your day is by taking regular breaks, allowing your mind and body to reset. Techniques like the Pomodoro method, with short bursts of work followed by brief intentional pauses, can help you build rest into your working routine. These small, consistent acts of self-care remind you that your well-being matters, and they create a healthier and more sustainable approach to life. Okay, next, limit distractions. So, distractions can eat up your time and make it harder to maintain balance. Limiting them helps you stay focused, get tasks done more efficiently, and free up time for other priorities. Identify your biggest distractions like social media, constant notifications, or a cluttered workspace, and find ways to minimize them. For example, turn off non-essential notifications, Make the do not disturb function on your device your best friend. Use apps that block distracting websites during set hours, or create a tidy and focused environment to work in. Next, use the one big thing rule. Instead of overwhelming yourself with endless to-do lists, focus on just one big thing you want to accomplish each day. This reduces decision fatigue, and it makes your goals feel much more manageable. Ask yourself each morning, what's the one most important thing I want to achieve today? Write it down, tackle it first, and consider anything else you get done a bonus. It's an effective way to simplify your priorities and cut through the noise of daily demands. Okay, next, break the habit of multitasking. So, multitasking might seem like a productivity booster, but in reality, it often makes you less efficient and more stressed. Focusing on one task at a time helps you complete it more effectively, and it frees up mental energy, allowing you to be fully present in whatever you're doing, whether it's a work project or spending time with loved ones. Block out time for specific tasks and resist the urge to juggle multiple things at once. Close unnecessary tabs, silence your phone, and give your full attention to the task at hand. Headphones can be really helpful for this if you're in a noisy environment. Next, embrace the power of good enough. Perfectionism is the enemy of balance because the pursuit of perfection often leads to overworking and unnecessary stress. On the other hand, accepting good enough allows you to focus on what truly matters. This frees you from the constant pressure to do more or be better, and you can do this by asking yourself, is this really worth the extra time and effort? If the answer is no, let it go. Remember, not everything needs to be perfect. Sometimes done is better than perfect. Okay, next, take control of your commute. If you commute to work, that time can feel like a drain on your day, but it doesn't have to be. Using the time wisely can actually improve your work-life balance and your mental well-being, because it turns an unavoidable part of your day into something productive or relaxing. You can do this by listening to a podcast, like mine, an audiobook, or some calming music. Alternatively, use the time for mindfulness or reflection. If possible, take a look into alternative ways to commute to work, like cycling or walking, so you can combine travel with exercise. Next, introduce an unreachable hour. Challenge yourself to be completely unreachable for at least 1 hour every day. No emails, no texts, no calls. This forces you to reclaim your time for yourself and breaks the habit of constant connectivity. Do this by turning your phone off and dedicating the hour to something just for you. Reading, mindfulness practice, or maybe even taking a nap. It can feel like a really bold and challenging move, but it's one that can be incredibly liberating in a world that's always on. Okay, next, have a shutdown ritual, which simply means symbolically ending your workday, something that signals to your brain that it's time to shift from work mode to personal time, even if your workspace is just a corner of your home. Create a small, consistent routine for yourself, like shutting down your computer, tidying your desk, and writing a quick note about tomorrow's priorities. For me, it's also changing my clothes after work, which really helps because I mostly work from home, so it creates a clear separation between work and home. Alright, next, schedule a do-nothing day. This might sound indulgent, but intentionally scheduling a day to do absolutely nothing productive can be a radical act of self-care. A do-nothing day helps you reset and recharge without the pressure of achieving or accomplishing things, and it creates space for genuine rest and spontaneity, allowing your mind and body to recover. Pick a day, mine is Saturday, clear your schedule, and let yourself just go with the flow, whether that means lounging in your pajamas, taking a long nap, or binge-watching a series guilt-free. The challenge here is resisting the urge to feel guilty or make the most of the day, which you can do by reminding yourself that you're investing in your well-being. Okay, next, use your paid time off wisely. Your annual leave is there for a reason, so use it. Taking time off is crucial for recharging and preventing burnout because it gives you the opportunity to step away from work and focus on rest, travel, or simply spending time with loved ones. Plan your leave in advance and ensure you take it regularly throughout the year. Even if you don't have huge holiday plans, use your time off for a staycation or to focus on hobbies and relaxation. Next, cultivate joy in the everyday. One of the most overlooked aspects of work-life balance is finding joy in the small moments. Balance isn't just about the big stuff. It's about appreciating the little things that make life worthwhile. This is about shifting your focus from getting through the day to truly experiencing it. You can do this by being present and mindful during routine activities. Savor your morning coffee. Take a moment to enjoy the sunset, or laugh at a silly meme. Actively look for moments of joy throughout your day and let them remind you why finding balance matters in the first place. Because when it comes to work-life balance and your mental health, what it all boils down to is this. Achieving a healthy work-life balance is not about perfection. It's about progress and prioritizing what truly matters to you. It means recognizing your time and energy are valuable and making conscious choices that allow you to live a life that feels fulfilling rather than simply manageable. By taking small, intentional steps to create balance, you're giving yourself the gift of space. Space to grow, to connect, and to enjoy life in all its messy, beautiful complexity. Remember, balance isn't something you find once and keep forever. It's something you cultivate, adapt, and nurture over time. The good news is, you have the power to shape your life in a way that works for you. So, why not start today? The choice is yours, as it is with all things related to your well-being. So, what choice will you make today? Each week I like to finish up by sharing a quote about the week's topic, and I encourage you to take a few moments to really reflect on it and consider what it means to you. This week's quote is by Charles Buxton, and it is, "You will never find time for anything. If you want time, you must make it." Let me repeat that. You will never find time for anything. If you want time, you must make it. All right, that's nearly it for this week. What does work-life balance mean to you? Leave me a comment and let's talk. And become a supporter on Patreon for early access to ad-free episodes and exclusive content. It's linked in the episode description. Next week, I'll be talking about how to foster healthier relationships. That will be out on January 26, and I hope you'll join me for it. Thank you very much for joining me today. Look after yourself and make a conscious effort to share positivity and kindness out into the world, because you get back what you put out. Take care and talk to you next time. Let's Talk About Mental Health is an independent program proudly produced by Reconnaissance Media.